Hello, this little lecture video will be about the argument formats. Keeping in mind that almost all college papers are argument formats, you want to use one of these four basic formats for your papers, and that will help keep your paper on track and make it easier to read for the reader if you follow one of these formats or one of these patterns. The first basic pattern is take a position. This is where there are two known positions and you can take one side, and then the body paragraphs, the subpoints, would be 3 reasons why the position that you are taking is superior to the other, or 3 reasons why you're taking the side that you're on. Always after the body paragraphs detailing your 3 reasons, at least, maybe 4 reasons, but at least 3, you would have an opposite view paragraph. In this case, probably what you would do is acknowledge that there are some good points that the person on the opposite side of the argument would have, but then give your reasons why you don't think those are as important as the reasons that you gave for the side that you are taking. The conclusion should always be a little bit different from the thesis. In this case, maybe restate your position and offer perhaps one additional positive side effect of your position. So one more positive that you hadn't yet mentioned. The next common pattern is the solve a problem pattern. This is where there is a problem and you can suggest a reasonable solution. Your body paragraphs would be 3 reasons why the solution would work, and your opposite view paragraph would mention alternate solutions but explain at the same time why those aren't as good as your solution. So what problems do those alternate solutions have? And then in your conclusion, again, you can indicate maybe a positive side effect of the suggested solution. So mention one more positive thing about your possible solution that hadn't yet been mentioned in the paper. A little bit trickier format to use, but also possibly very effective, is argue against a claim. This you would use when there's a claim that's commonly made or something that people commonly believe, which you think is actually incorrect. So, everyone has this idea, or many people make this claim or say that such and so thing is true, and you say, but it isn't true. So your thesis would be, I want to challenge, I want to say that this common belief or this particular claim is inaccurate. Then your body paragraphs would be perhaps examples of counter evidence. So 3 times that you can point to where the commonly held belief is shown to be incorrect or it just didn't work that way. 3 specific instances or examples. Then your opposite view paragraph might contain a couple of examples where the claim was true, but where you can explain, yes, but there are these reasons why that happened that way, and it doesn't always happen that way. In other words, you can explain away these examples where the claim was held true. And then in the conclusion, if you can, what you would do would be identify policy errors made due to the inaccurate claim. In other words, because everyone believes this particular claim, they do this, or they act in this way, or maybe even the government has done this or acted in this way. But we shouldn't be doing that because the initial claim was incorrect anyway. And then the last common format that I'm going to talk to you about is persuade to act. This is a slightly more emotional essay, perhaps, where you give some situation where there's either a problem or there's some need for somebody to take action to do something, and you say, here's what can be done. This is what should be done to deal with this situation. Then you would give in your body paragraphs at least 3 reasons why the action that you propose is appropriate or is a good action. The opposite view would be maybe some alternate approaches and why you don't think those would be as effective or as meaningful. And then in the conclusion, that's where you can be a little bit more emotional and really make a call. We must act, we must do this. So again, persuade to act is perhaps a little bit more emotional, a little more intense, but it's also a good argument format to use. Thank you.